All right. Make sure. I just want to make sure real quick that they can even hear us. All right. All right. Sure. I just want to make sure real quick that they can even hear us. All right, Casey, say something real quick. All right.
What's up?
All right. Sure. I just want to make sure real quick that they can even hear us. All right, Casey, say something quick.
What's up?
Okay, good. They can hear us.
All right, good.
All right, just making sure. Let me boost your audio all the way up, though. That would certainly help. What is going on, guys? And welcome back to the Game Corner podcast. I almost said the Derailed podcast, but that's not my show. Anyways, tonight we're going to be talking a lot, and I do mean a lot, about Nintendo. We have a list of games to go through. We're going to be talking about how likely these games are to be revealed or released in the years 2022 and 2023. We have a big list to go through, courtesy of a leaker on Twitter by the name of Marco Maro. My apologies for mispronouncing his name. I'm going to pull up his tweet in a matter of a couple of minutes. This big reveal or leak or possibly nothing but a big ass rumor, was posted about 3 or 4 days ago in several tweets that this person had made. This person now, he did predict quite a bit to be true in 2020 when he made similar tweets regarding games that would either release or be revealed this year in 2021. He predicted games like Advance Wars, Kirby's Forgotten Land. He predicted a 2D Metroid game. He predicted that we'd be hearing about something new for Donkey Kong, and a couple other things. And of course, he was right on all of those fronts. So I'm not saying this guy is a bullshit artist, but it's possible that he is bullshitting. However, the fact that he was able to hit the mark on so many things last year leads me to want to discuss all of this, which is why we are going to go over it. Because if this guy was right on a lot of those things last year, he could be right again. He could be some kind of potential industry insider who knows a lot on Nintendo, or he could just be somebody that knows how to get information, and Nintendo just doesn't know how to stop him yet. So
well, a lot of times they hate those leaks, and a lot of times I give up on these leaks, as what I'm talking about, where there's a piece of paper says it's confidential and internal use, and they'll throw some easy ones that either we already know what's coming out, and then they'll throw some safe ones that they think it'd be most likely, and then they'll throw like the most outrageous ones, like Mother 4 is coming out, or we're finally gonna get oh gosh, just random shit like that. But I don't believe these leaks anymore, if you ask me, from Nintendo. Let's just say that. Because how many times I've been burnt.
Well, like I said, this guy has quite the credibility so far behind his seemingly pretty good reputation. So I think before we discuss what we do know for sure, that's going to be coming out next year.
Do you hear all those sounds?
What sounds?
Like, good. Oh, I don't know. Sounds? It's like some bleeping.
I don't know. I don't hear anything, at least on my end.
Okay.
But anyways, Casey, before we talk about what we do know for sure is coming out next year, why don't we go through this list of leaks or rumors, as I said, and let's discuss each one, and let's see how likely or unlikely um, each of these reveals is to whether or not they will or will not come out this year. So I pulled up the list on the screen, and we will go over each one of them. Wait, nope. Stop that. Stop that. Okay. Let me just. I want to center this a little bit more. Okay, there we go. That's what I wanted to do.
Well, this is the list. Well, we know a lot of those are been announced to do it. Like they announced Breath of the Wild.
Right, and that's why I said. That's why I said we'll talk about those ones last. But there's other ones on this list. For example, we do know the first three have already been announced. Pokemon Legends Arceus comes out next month. Kirby and the Forgotten Land comes out this or next spring, probably around April or May. Advance Wars 1 and 2 was also announced this year. I don't remember if it's got a release date. I don't know what Casual IP is.
I think that's just pretty much that thing is just an IP from Nintendo, but they don't. This is when it's like, oh, a Nintendo brand franchise, a new game. I'm like, well, that could be anything.
As far as the rest of this list, Splatoon 3 we know is coming out next year some point.
Yeah.
So here's the first one we're not too sure about. This one is Fire Emblem Echoes, which was a 3DS game which released back in 2017. It's said to this potential leaker or whatnot, or these rumors. He claims that it will either be revealed or released in 2022 as a remake of the 3DS game, which came out back in May 19th, 2017. Now, Fire Emblem's a pretty good turn-based RPG style game. I'm sure you've heard of it in some aspect, Casey, the series. Since Fire Emblem debuted in Super Smash Bros. Melee back on the GameCube, which is when Fire Emblem's popularity skyrocketed in America.
I mean, I never played it.
The last one came out back in like 2019, Fire Emblem Three Houses. I believe it was 2019. So I'm going to say that, yeah, this is possible. I think certainly possible that this will come out 2022. If not, it'll certainly be revealed next year. The next one here is going to be the next Detective Pikachu game, which we do know the next movie is being worked on, so it only makes sense that there's going to be another game, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, didn't they have a game already out for that?
Yeah, the first game came out before the first movie did.
Hold on, that was a 3DS game though too, wasn't it?
Yes.
So, yeah.
So again, another 3DS game. This one though, not a remake. I believe it will be a sequel. Probably Detective Pikachu 2 or whatever they plan on calling it. But yeah, again, that movie came out in 2019, and the game came out in 2018, near the end of the year. So again, I think it's very possible with the next movie on the horizon should be coming out at some point soon. I do think that Detective Pikachu, whatever the next game will be called, will be very possible. Whether it's released, I don't think it'll be released this year. I think it will be revealed this year.
When does the movie come out?
We don't know yet.
Oh, then I wouldn't put it out until when until the movie comes out.
Well, the first Detective Pikachu game came out about 6 months before the movie did, so they could do the same thing again.
Yeah, true.
So, so the next one on this one is probably more unlikely, and if anything, this should have happened this year during Zelda's uh, 35th anniversary. Is He is predicting Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker and Twilight Princess to get Switch port remasters. Uh, Certainly not released in 2022. At least I wouldn't think. Maybe one of them could be released this year, or they could release them both as a double pack, like they did with the Super Mario 3D All Stars. That's certainly a possibility. But
Yeah,
again,
maybe.
you would have thought this would have happened, during the 35th anniversary of Zelda.
Well, I'm thinking what could have happened. Maybe that's what they were planning to do, but COVID hit and caused them to push this for later on. So I think it's possible. I mean, it'd be nicer if it's a 2-pack because then they can charge that for $60. I mean, how much was the? I'm trying to remember how much was the. God, Skyward Sword, was that full price?
I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah,
Hmm.
I can see them charging $60. If they, I would hate to see if they charge $60 for each one if they release them separately. But
Yeah,
I could certainly see them charging $60 if they release them as a double pack.
I would like that. So that'd be cool.
So the reason I think that it won't release in 2022 is because of the Breath of the Wild sequel.
Great point.
Do you think they would put out 3 Zelda games in the same
Mm,
year? 2 of them being remasters and one being the major sequel everyone's waiting for?
unless that's what they were planning to put that game out during the whole Zelda 35th anniversary. So maybe because it was too late. It's possible. I give it 50-50.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think that's fair. So
But actually, maybe 40-60. I'm leaning more to no.
well, I still say it has a fair shot of whether it gets revealed or released in 2022 or whatever. These games, of course, this is the initial plans for 2022, so we'll get into 2023. But yeah, he's predicting quite a few things already for the year after next, which I think is a little bit more far fetched, but at the same time, I think could also happen.
Well,
Anyways,
see, this is what I'm talking about. Uh, about, that whole paper with. They'll throw a bunch of stuff we already know. They'll throw some safe choices and then one or two outrageous picks in there. Because, like you said, the rest of them we know it's coming out.
well, not necessarily the rest of them. There's a couple more on here I do want to talk about.
Well, I mean, Mario's plus Rabbit 2, we know that's coming out. And I actually enjoyed the first one. So, strange, you figure any Rabbids game wouldn't be any good, but this was actually good.
Well, that's because they attached Mario to it. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been very good, in my opinion.
Well, the whole thing they did with trying to think what kind of gameplay that was. Strategy kind of warfare kind of game. So it was not only they put Mario in there, but that gameplay was good too,
Yeah, I mean, I did want to play the first one, but at the same time, I'm like, I fucking hate the Rabbids. They're so annoying.
I usually would agree with you, but this was actually fun game.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I almost did buy it, so it's not like I, entirely hated the idea. But at the same time, I just couldn't bring myself to do it.
Well, it's everyone's their choice, you know.
So
And there,
next on this list, we have Bayonetta 3, which we already know is coming out next year. Um, we're gonna get to Metroid Prime in a minute. We're gonna skip over that for a second. New 2D Donkey Kong. This was predicted as he predicted we would hear rumblings about it this year in 2021, which we did. There is supposedly going to be a new game and a new animated series for Donkey Kong in 2022. So this is, at the same time, this is already kind of known, but at the same time, we really don't know anything else about it other than the fact that it's supposed to be coming next year.
I wait until to see it happen, but I would like to see it happen. But kind of like the Donkey Kong Country series, so I don't want them to go back to 2D though.
Well, it'll be. I think what this person means by 2D Donkey Kong is kind of like the way they made Tropical Freeze and Returns, how it's like 2D, 2.5D or whatever.
Yeah,
Kind of like that style. I don't think he meant like 2D as in the ones we got 30 years ago.
yeah, like on the NES.
So next one, this one I think is very unlikely. Pokemon Let's Go sequels. And the reason I say these are unlikely is because we have, again, Legends Arceus coming out next month. We've already had 2 Pokemon games come out this year, being Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, which was the Generation 4 Pokemon remake. And we had new Pokemon Snap released at the end of April of this year. We also had the Pokemon Sword and Shield, which was a Generation 8 second expansion, the Crown Tundra, released earlier this year. Last year we had the first half of that expansion for Sword and Shield. And 2019 we had the release of Sword and Shield. 2018 we had the release of...
Last year we had the first half of that expansion. Sorry.
That's all right. 2018 we had Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee initially released. And in 2017 we had the second part of Generation 7 being Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon released. So there's a lot of Pokemon that's been coming out in the last going on 5 years now. I don't think we're going to get these next year. Do I think they're going to happen? It's possible. These games were hit or miss. You either loved them or you hated them. But I think it's possible. But I don't think it's going to be next year. I think it's too much Pokemon to release. Even if you just consider 2021 and 2022, as release years for Pokemon, that's still you would consider this 4 games and an expansion set. That's a lot for a series to release in 1 year's time.
Yeah. To me, I couldn't care less, but I know there's a ton of people into Pokemon, so...
Pretty much anything Pokemon is like a fucking gold mine, but I just don't see this happening. Not, at least, maybe we'll get an announcement of it next year, but it's definitely not going to release next year. I don't even think to be honest, I'm leaning more towards we're not even going to get an announcement for it next year, but it is possible. I'm not going to say it won't happen, but I think it's unlikely.
Announcement, I would say I could see, but as coming out next year, no, I don't see it happening. I agree about that.
So now we have Zelda's Breath of the Wild sequel, or Breath of the Wild 2, as everyone is referring to it as right now. It was already showed off at the Game Awards 3 weeks ago. Or no, I'm sorry, 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. It was announced for a holiday 2022 release window, so you figure sometime between mid-November and, around Christmas time in December. unless something happens and they have to delay it into 2023, which I would not be surprised at all if that does happen. But as of right now, we do know Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, or whatever it ends up being called, is scheduled to release at the end of next year. The only thing really on this list I don't know anything about, besides this casual IP thing, which I don't know what that is either, is this Monolith project. I have no idea what this is, but apparently it's going to get either revealed or released next year. You alright, Casey? You're muted.
I'm sorry. I was having some coughing fits.
Yeah, it tends to happen around this time of year. So now we're going to go back to Metroid Prime. This is the one I skipped on this list, and for good reason. And I'm going to show you other tweets he made. He made other tweets regarding Metroid Prime, which we're going to go over those right now. He says, let me go back to his other tweets. Right here, he says, Nintendo is very happy with the sales of for Metroid Dread, with over 2 million sales after 2 months. They are planning to release some free DLC, like a new difficulty mode at some point next year. He also goes to say, Metroid Prime Remasters announcement coming very soon, since they want to keep the momentum for the franchise and the project complete. Metroid Prime 4 in 2023 also. It would be a smart move to release an HD version of Samus Returns, which was the last Metroid 3DS game, with some improvements in 2023.
I like that idea. But, the whole thing with remastering the Prime series, how many times we heard that before and it hasn't happened?
Well, I would think that it could be more likely to happen before Metroid Prime 4 comes out.
The only problem, I think they should. I mean, that's just easy money. You just clean it up. You have a few people go in and just clean the game up and have it ready to port it to the Switch. And it'd be easy money for Nintendo. I mean, I was kind of hoping they would do the same thing with Pikmin 1 and 2 before they released Pikmin 3, but I've been waiting for Pikmin 4 for years and years and years, to the point where I was like, you know what? I'd be happy if they finally port over Pikmin 3, because that's my favorite right now of the series.
And that's another thing that this Marco Maro person predicted in 2020, was that there would be a Pikmin game in 2021, which technically there was.
Was it? I was pretty sure. No. Maybe 2020. I swear it came in 2019, didn't it?
No, I'm pretty sure Pikmin 3 Deluxe, I'm pretty sure that came out in 2021. I'm pretty sure it came out earlier this year.
No. I mean, could I be wrong? Yeah, but let me look that up. I'm pretty sure that it came out later than that. I'm looking at that up right now. Wiki. Because I'm pretty sure it came out in 2019. But, the older you get, everything feels like it's faster. Well, let's see. I'm trying to look it up. It would show Pikmin 3. It was. Oh, you're close. It came out on October 30th in 2020.
Oh, okay.
So So it's a year and
So it's a little
oh,
over. So it's a little over a year ago. So he was a little off the mark on that one, but um, he
I love the
also
game.
he
I love
also
the
he also mentioned other stuff regarding that. He also says, well, this is to finish it off, but he also said a couple other things here. Uh, what else did he say? He said Advance Wars 1 and 2. He made a tweet about that. Um, Breath of the Wild sequel. Uh, oh, here we go. Here's something else for Zelda he's predicting.
what
He says the main event for the next E3 are the Zelda Oracle remakes for 2023 and beyond, which would be, of course, the Oracle of Ages and the Oracle of Seasons, which were
Game Boy.
Game Boy Advance games.
No, I think they're Game Boy Color games.
He also says Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD should be released before the end of the summer next year, or at least one of them will be released. So
Um,
that's kind of close together. So he's saying the Oracle remasters or remakes will be in 2023, and Wind Waker and Twilight Princess will release by the end of the summer next year. But then you'd be following that up with Breath of the Wild 2, only a few months later.
look what Randy said.
So the Rose finally respond to this chat.
Hey, he usually responds better than I do. Well,
Hey, when I'm going over the news and stuff right now with all these releases, I can only look at one thing at a time. So,
well, true, but I mean, if you're cross-eyed, you could do two.
haha, you're funny. Yeah, he says you're the champion. Okay, sure. So here's the next thing we're going to get into, which we've been hearing so much about this bullshit, and I did say I wouldn't really cover this nonsense anymore until it actually happened, but because this is part of his predictions, we're going to go over it. He says 2022 will be the last strong year for the Nintendo Switch, since 2023 will be the start of the new generation for Nintendo with a new console. Very similar to the Switch, but with more power. With more power than the PS4, with 4K, new functions, and compatible with Switch games.
I mean, I do believe the future version of the Switch because we know they're going to go with this for a while now because how well it's doing.
Casey, stop sucking up to the rose. This isn't you. Oh, shut up.
But it's just going to be
We've been hearing the rumors for the Switch Pro or this new Switch,
for a
Switch 2,
while.
Super Switch, whatever they're going to call it. We've been hearing about this since what, 2019?
Yeah, or
2019?
Yeah, maybe at earliest 2018. And I believe it was been over a year. And I said if it's been over a year and we don't have a Switch Pro version, I don't think it's going to happen. I think we'll eventually just have the new generation version of the Switch. It'll be like the Super Switch.
And look at every time the rumors came out, look how many times everybody was wrong. Because we got the newer version of the Switch with just the better battery life. Then we got the Switch Lite, which was the second time the rumors on the new Switch were wrong. And then this year we got the Switch OLED version in October, which was the third time the new Switch rumors were wrong. So if he's wrong, this will be the fourth time it's been wrong. But he says it is unclear when they are planning to release it. Should be holiday 2023. But they have some games in the pipeline to make a strong debut.
I kind of agree that it might be holiday 2023 when we see the new generation of the Switch, because this year was the fifth year of this. No, is it the fifth year?
Yeah,
No,
this year.
this is
Yeah, no, this year will be 5 years,
well,
or next year.
yeah,
Next year will be 5 years.
yeah, full 5 years. So, so I could see it 2023, maybe 2024. I don't see it doing a full 10 years, even though that's the rumor, but that's what they were planning to do with the PS4 and Xbox One before they moved on. It was supposed to be a 10-year move, and that would have been 2 years from, let's say a year, 2 years from now. No, actually a year from now. Because it'd been, no, it'd be 2 years from now if it had been full 10 years for the PS4 and Xbox One, been out.
Well, yeah, well, we know that's not going to happen. But so he's predicting that the launch lineup, or at least a potential launch lineup for the new Switch, which he says could be holiday 2023. He's predicting a Mario Kart, new Mario 3D game, complete edition of Smash Ultimate, which we're going to get into that because while he didn't predict it, somebody else did. uh, and an improved version of Breath of the Wild sequel, as well as Metroid Prime 4. Let me tell you something, that is a stacked launch lineup, and I don't see all of those games releasing on day one of the new console because they're going to spread that out a little bit.
Well, honestly, I mean, look what they did for the Switch in 2017. I felt like that was the strongest year they had in a long, long time. It was 2017 when they had Breath of the Wild came out. And then later on, you had Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Then you had Splatoon 2 came out. And at the very end, you had Mario Odyssey. And that's a hell of a lineup. And then you had some third-party games in the mix of there, and some smaller Nintendo license in there as well. But that was probably the best lineup for Nintendo has done at least. I mean, they really hadn't had that kind of lineup since, But a lot of that stuff was supposed to come out for the Wii U because Breath of the Wild was a Wii U game. They just ported that over to the Switch. And I guarantee you Mario Odyssey was going to be a Wii U game until they canceled the Wii U port and made it exclusive for the Switch. And I still feel this way for Splatoon 2. I feel like it's Splatoon 1.5 because they still have a bunch of the same courses they had on 1 sprinkled with new stuff. So I felt that was more like a deluxe version of 1.
Okay, so to finish off his big list of predictions, he says, and to finish off, I have been talking about a new racing game by Nintendo since 2 or 3 years ago. The project started as a racing game to be around Mario Kart 8 Deluxe as an alternative, but not a new Mario Kart. But apparently things changed a little bit since last time I heard about it. Then he goes on to say, the main idea and the best way to describe it was like Mario Kart's Smash Bros. With a big focus on the online community with lots of weekly stuff to do and new ways to race, not just karts and bikes. He says the thing. He says the thing is, after the insane sales of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and still selling like hotcakes, which it is, it's one of the best selling
Mm.
Switch games out there. Nintendo decided to not release it on the Switch and use it as a launch title, but the for the next console as the new Mario Kart. Even when this game wasn't supposed to be a Mario Kart game at the beginning, he goes, not sure how much of this original content will survive at the end, but it will be cool if they still go the Nintendo All Stars route.
Yeah, or you scrap the Mario name and you call it Nintendo Carts.
That's what I was thinking because with Mario Kart 8, and 8 Deluxe, we've already seen an inkling of that already. With
And
Link was in it, right?
yeah,
Link and Animal Crossing was in it. Uh,
yes.
and so I think one of the one of the inklings from Splatoon was also in it, I believe.
In the original, no, and deluxe, yes.
So then you also had the Mii's that you could create your
Yes.
Mii and let them race in the game. So I think Nintendo, while not necessarily ending the Mario Kart franchise, but rebranding it as like Nintendo All Stars Racing or Nintendo All Stars Kart, whatever they want to call it, or just Nintendo Kart. I think that's not a bad idea, and I still think it'll sell just as well as it's been.
I think keep it simple, like how you have Mario Kart or Super Mario Kart. You keep it simple. I say it's gotta go with probably Nintendo Kart.
Or Nintendo World Kart, or Nintendo, something.
I think you put too much on it. You want to start simple because this is rebranding. I mean, like, go back to the original. The original was Super Mario Kart, right?
Right.
And then we moved on to Mario Kart 64. Then you got Double Dash. Then you got Mario Kart Wii. Then you had then you had all the versions on handheld. They're okay. I might have played one or two, but and then you went to Mario Kart 8 and 8 Deluxe. So I feel the best way to start fresh as Nintendo Kart or Super Nintendo Kart.
That's why I'm saying if rebranding is not a bad idea, as long as they don't change it too much.
Oh no, you pretty much keep the same formula. The formula is what made it great. That's why you have people like Sony keep copying their stuff, because obviously the formula is working and it continues to work. I'm not sure about some of the handheld versions, how they hold up, but all the main console versions been great. So that's right.
I'm looking for the post right now that talked about the Smash Bros thing, because I do want to mention that real quick. Let me see if I can find it. Is this it? Yeah, here we go.
Or maybe, like you say, maybe call it Smash Bro Karts. You kind of merge both of them,
Right. Okay, so here's the tweet that I wanted to bring up next about Smash Bros. So this is a prediction tweet by Invent Global, which I guess is some kind of gaming site. Never heard of them. It says Nintendo insiders hint at special edition Super Smash Bros. Ultimate coming soon. So this, as I mentioned, Marco Maro mentioned it as one of the release titles, the launch titles for the new Switch in 2023. Which, yeah, that could happen. This version would be the same version of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate that's out now on the Switch. However, it would include all of the DLC characters that were made, after the game's launch, which there were 13 DLC characters, so I could see this as a good idea to release the game again with all of the DLC as a definitive edition because we,
Yeah.
we see, we see game companies do this a lot with big titles. Um, so now the only reason I say this wouldn't happen is because they didn't do that. I mean, I guess they kind of did, but in a way they didn't. When they had the Smash Bros on the Wii U, and they had like 6 or 7 DLC characters after the game came out. They
Hmm.
didn't. They didn't release a version of that game. They didn't release a definitive version of that game with all the characters in it until Smash Bros. Ultimate, which was a new Smash game entirely because they took some stuff out, they changed some things um, with Smash Bros. Ultimate. So you can't say really Ultimate was a Wii U definitive edition because it kind of wasn't. I mean, it was in some aspects, but at the same time, they also made it still feel like a new game. So yeah,
Well,
I think this is possible, but on the other hand, I think they could just make a new Smash Bros. Game for the new Switch.
well, the thing is, how do you top what they just did with this one? I mean, you had to do Super Smash Brothers Ultimate 2. They had to have the same roster again, and then have more. I just keep it going. Maybe have a deluxe version, like you say, or or you say Smash Brothers for the Super Switch. It's the same game, but it's deluxe version. But this version continues. I mean, how do you advance from this?
Well, I mean look at Mortal Kombat and what they did when they had all of their fighting game, all their characters in one game, and then they went and rebooted the series. So if you think about it, Nintendo could do the same thing with Smash Bros. But
I think that
I'm not saying they will or they won't, but you never know.
I think that would be bad if they would do that.
But
If they,
yeah, that's why I said on one hand I don't think it'll happen, but on the other hand I think it could happen. Um,
oh,
Randy Viper's asking me about a Spider-Man review. I don't recall ever saying I was gonna do a Spider-Man review. Uh,
but I was going to bring that up. I was going to say I'm willing to sit down and have you watched it?
of course, I did the review with Frank last week on his channel.
Okay, then there's no point in him doing it. I mean, I would love to do it with the Rose,
Yeah,
but
I was already on Frank's channel. If you're talking about the movie, yeah, that's been done already. We did that last week. If you're talking about a Spider-Man game, I never said I was going to review a
no,
Spider-Man game, but
no, he's talking about the movie. So, I mean, I thought you did one with the Frank, with the Frank,
with the Frank, the harsh truth, the Frank.
the Frank, but I think it'd be cool. It would be cool for you to review it, but you already did it. There's no point you doing it again. So, I
Yeah,
mean, so
it would be like me doing what I just did right now with you for the past 46 minutes, and then making another video just doing it by myself. That would be
yeah, so
counterproductive and not necessary.
yeah. So just go watch Frank and the Rose episode. I'm sure it was good. I really need to go back. I didn't watch it because I didn't want to be spoiled.
And
And I'm
it wasn't just me and Frank. Jeremy and Rachel was there too. So Cora was supposed to be on, but she didn't see the movie yet at the time, so that's why he called on me.
well, I'm happy for you because I was I was kind of hoping it was going to come out streaming, but it was. And I was like, oh,
They
I don't
said
want
in well, I don't know if you've seen any of the movie trailers, but they said in the movie trailers, right at the end of them, it said in theaters only, exclusively in theaters.
I kind of like staying home. I'd play a little bit more money, like $25 to watch at home.
Yeah, but
And that,
if they do that, I feel like the box office obviously loses a lot of money, and then so do the people that put out all the money to make the movie, because then you got to split the
oh, that
revenue with the
goes,
streaming services too.
you, well, a lot of that money goes, yeah, partial, some of that will go to the streaming service, but a lot of that goes to people who made the movie.
But yeah, well, you could see that movies are, predominantly now being back in theaters, especially anything Marvel and DC related.
Uh, I got a feeling right now with there's a bunch of events either canceling or postponing because of COVID again. I wouldn't doubt it if they might revert to back doing this. So,
Well, I mean, we'll see. Only time will tell. But so Casey, let's wrap this up by let's talking about let's talk about again the games that we know are going to come out next year. What games from Nintendo are we looking forward to the most? Again, out of what we know is coming next year, and do you think that Nintendo will win out in 2022 over PlayStation and Xbox?
um, lately I hadn't bought a lot of Switch games in the last year because to me, there's nothing that appealed to me. I mean, there might have been some digital games, but there was a lot this past year. But a lot of that's got to be due to COVID. So I don't hold that against them.
So we know again Pokemon Legends Arceus. Let's go back to the tweet that I brought up initially. The first one I brought up from this Mark, person. Um, and we'll go through the games that we already know are definitely coming out. So we'll bring this tweet up one last time. Okay, here it is. And pop it back up on the screen. Again, Pokemon Legends Arceus. I already have this game pre-ordered. Comes out at the end of January. It's a different take on Pokemon, so I'm kind of interested to see how well it does. Um, I don't know, but we'll see. Kirby and the Forgotten Land, first ever 3D open world looking Kirby game. Somewhat in the vein of Super Mario Odyssey. Looks really interesting. I just hope they don't make it baby game level like they do with all the other Kirby games.
I'd try it out. It looked like a fun game, like you said. It looked like something like Odyssey, kind of like how the new Sonic game kind of looks 3D, kind of like an open world.
Right. So I'm definitely looking forward to the new Kirby game. Like I said, I just hope
Yeah,
they make it. I just hope they make it more of a game that doesn't have to be like so babyish.
yeah. Well, the previous couple, I was like, it was too babyish. I mean, I love the original one that was on the NES, but the rest of them, they're kind of like do feel baby, and it felt like they babied you more as the years gone on. So I had no um, any reason want to play it. Except this one looks like it's going to be a cool game.
Then we have Splatoon 3, which I know you're looking forward to.
Fuck yeah, bro! I tell you one thing. I remember when they announced the first one on Wii U. I was like, dude, it's like I really thought like this game looks really interesting and fun, and it's like, and this is like one of the better years for the Wii U, so I was happy about that. So, and I really enjoy too. You just get burned out of the game after a while, but you get addicted to it. So yeah, I would love to play Splatoon 3.
Next up, we have Mario plus Rabbids 2. Again, not a game I'm particularly going to rush out there and play, but certainly something I'll keep my eye on, like I did with the first one.
I'll do it because I really enjoyed the first one.
Then we have Bayonetta 3, which, again, big title people have been looking forward to since it first got revealed a few years ago.
Do
Uh,
we know this is supposed to come out 2022?
yeah, it is going to come out in 2022, as long as it doesn't get delayed again.
Okay. Well, then I'd pick that up.
And then, of course, out of this list of what we know, unless it gets delayed into 2023, the big one, the sequel of Breath of the Wild.
I'm kind of hoping of the name, like, it'd be the second breath. They, I don't know. I really like the wording, Breath of the Wild. I love that title because it's Breath of the Wild was just a fun game. It broke the mold of what Zelda game was. I mean, it was just a real awesome game to play, and it looks like they expand that on that. Now it looks like you're going up into the sky, so that makes it even bigger. It's not only open world; it's like open atmosphere now.
Hey, how much longer until Zelda, they go into space?
Oh, I don't think. I think we're thinking about that. I'm glad a lot of that direction they were going to go to with like the aliens, like the from like Independence Day invasion kind of thing. I'm glad they did not do that. I'm glad they did not do that stupid, more modern version of Zelda with a motorcycle and a guitar. I'm glad they went the direction they did. I felt like if they went those two directions, they would have killed off Zelda with that. That would have been it.
So out of this list, Casey, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 6 confirmed titles off of this list alone.
Yeah.
For 2022 for Nintendo. Now that doesn't include everything else we already know about 2022 coming for Nintendo, which are a lot of smaller, more smaller games. Other games that probably aren't going to get as much attention as these games we just talked about. But then let's say you throw in the ring, let's say you throw in the Metroid Prime trilogy remaster and the new Donkey Kong game. Do you think this stuff alone is enough for Nintendo to win out in 2022 over PlayStation and Xbox?
Fuck yeah!
Because because comparing all three companies and what their plans for next year are, we know the most of what Nintendo's already looking to give us compared to Sony and Xbox. As of right now, I can only think of maybe 3 or 4 games that PlayStation is going to give us in 2022. That being Gran Turismo 7, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, and the new yearly games, that always come out, like baseball and wrestling and football.
But that doesn't count, though. I mean, that's multi-plat.
Yeah. But so, as far as exclusives go, like I said, I could only think of like 3 games. And I just mentioned the 3. And then we have the Xbox side. The only games I know, or I should say the only game I know that's coming out potentially in 2022 for the Xbox side is Forza Motorsport 8, which is a racing game. That's it.
And you figure Microsoft should be like pumping out games because how many fucking studios they bought out,
and they're not done yet. They're looking to buy more.
Yeah, I'm like, where's all these games? Why are you buying all these studios so you can put them on ice or what?
Well, they did that. They did that to Rare when they first acquired them. They hardly ever use them, and when they do, it's just to pump out old shit again.
Well, they also used to do the Kinect games, and that's not true. They put a lot of games on the original Xbox, and then the 360, they put out a bunch of those stupid Kinect games,
and a bunch of remasters of their old games.
Okay, and then the Xbox One, the only one I can really think of is Rare Replay, and
again, which was a compilation of all their old games.
Yeah, so, and then Killer Instinct
was like their only new IP. And that was actually handled more by Microsoft Studios than it was Rare.
But Microsoft, like I was saying, with all the studios they have bought up, paid millions and millions of dollars for all these studios, and you don't see jack shit. I'm like, where's the games from Microsoft?
I mean, they're pretty secretive. I could tell you that much. They, you don't see people looking to leak out Nintendo and Xbox and PlayStation games as much as you see the people wanting to leak out Nintendo shit.
Yeah. Because Nintendo has a bunch of exclusives. That's what makes Nintendo great. They do have a bunch of great exclusives. Even during their Wii U era, most of that library was first party. And a lot of them were great. And that's why a lot of them got ported over to the Switch so they can have a second lease on life.
Which was very much needed.
Yes, definitely. I mean, a lot of these games deserve a second chance because a lot of them were really good. Like I love Pikmin 3, and I'm glad it finally got a Switch version so I could take that anywhere and anywhere.
Randy, you didn't just get here. You've been here for about a half an hour. All right, Casey, I heard that.
Oh, you my mother?
Fucking nasty bastard. But yeah, Casey, looking at that list, man, and everything we talked about and the games we know from Nintendo versus the games we know about for PlayStation and Xbox. Now, of course, we don't know what else they're all planning. Nintendo could throw even more curveballs at us. That could be big. Or PlayStation and Xbox can release some really big shit throughout the year, and they just keep things more under wraps because like I said, not nearly as many people like to try to reveal their shit compared to revealing Nintendo stuff.
Yeah.
Whether they do it just to troll Nintendo or they do it because they know it gets under Nintendo's skin. But I think with everything we know versus everything we don't know, as of right now, I think Nintendo is going to be the big winner in 2022.
I agree. I mean, I love God of War. I mean, I really enjoyed 3, and I really enjoyed the one on PS4. So, Ragnarok, I'm very, very interested. And the Horizon game, I really enjoyed that because that was almost like a Breath of the Wild for Sony, almost.
Pretty much. Unless PlayStation announces like another Uncharted game, which I don't know if they will or not. I mean, they could, but the last one didn't do so well. And for good reason. But I really don't know what PlayStation can announce that will excite people as much as everything Nintendo's already told us we're going to get, on top of what they haven't told us yet that we're going to get.
Yeah, see, the thing is, I mean, is it in their best interest to push these out right now, especially when the supply chain is really, really thin out? Because I'm not going to stoop that low to pay outrageously price for a game system that goes for $500 and pay double just to have it.
All right, hold on a second there, Casey.
Are we muted? Did you mute that?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I got a phone call. You know, typical Rose content always gets interrupted. But anyways, yeah. So I think Nintendo is the big winner in 2022. I mean, we do
Mm-hmm.
know PlayStation's got a couple of big games next year. They also announced a couple of big games for 2023, that being the new Spider-Man and the new Wolverine game. But again, that's all we know of, you know, going further in the future. As far as a new Switch console, I don't think it's smart to release it next year. Um, I don't think it's even smart to release it early in 2023. So I think holiday time 2023 is a safer bet. Maybe even push it into 2024 as we await to see the supply chain shortage and backup, and the chip shortage for technology and you know our phones and game consoles and everything, which is said to be getting resolved sometime in 2023, hopefully by the end of next
God
year, but probably
damn.
not until sometime in 2023. So, yeah, I hear you, Casey. I don't want to have to track down um, a new Nintendo console like I had to at the PS5, because that was about an 8 month long headache that I really don't want to have again.
I mean, what sucks is that, and this is not like, oh, you should have pre-ordered. This is different.
Even then, the pre-orders for the PS5 and the Series X were damn near impossible to get,
Yeah, because of the bots. And
and it's gonna happen again. Because if you don't think it'll happen again, you're a fucking idiot. And I'll just say that bluntly.
I just felt like last time you were able to get a good pre-order on something.
PS4, PS4 and Switch, I had no problem. I got them both on day
Yes.
one. The PS5 and the Series X, fucking nearly impossible to even get anywhere near. Now my brother got lucky to get two Xbox Series X's the day that the pre-orders for them went out, but it took him all day, and he had to go through two different retailers to get them. But he managed to get them. But it was hard. He had a fucking huge headache doing it. So I don't think it's smart to release the next console next year, and I don't think it's smart to release it early in 2023. I think they should wait until either 2024 if they want to release it, you know, earlier on in the year,
Or very late
or
2023.
yeah, or do what everyone else does and release a new console right around the holidays, you know, during the holiday shopping season.
Because I mean, I picked up my Switch day one,
Yep. So
and
did I.
I didn't, and I did not want. I did not have a problem getting a pre-order because I was like, you know what, I better
We
pre-order
also
the Switch.
You're also talking about 2017, where there was no pandemic, there was no supply chain issues, there was no shortage on
Chip
people,
shortage.
there was no
Yeah.
shortage on people willing to work, there was no chip shortage. You know, things have changed since then, and hopefully it only gets better. But anyways,
Yeah.
guys, you know, we're starting to talk in circles now. It's been a little over an hour. I think we hit all the points I wanted to hit today. So we have Christmas coming. You know, it is going to be Christmas Eve very soon. Christmas is right around the corner. And we do have the Derailed Christmas party on Sunday, which, Casey, I got to talk to you about the ice cream thing after we end, because I've already kind of talked to Drew about that. But yeah, I'll talk to you about that at the end. Speaking of Drew and Derailed, follow me and Casey and the Derailed YouTube channel and the Derailed Patreon all that stuff. All the links in the description box down below. Derailed Patreon, 10 shows a month, 10 cents a show, about a quarter a week. Pretty good amount of content. Very fair price, in my opinion. Derailed podcast every Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We are going on to episode 198, which will be the Christmas/after Christmas party. It's going to be a good time. Follow Casey on YouTube and Twitter as well. Links in the description box down below. Casey, what do you got coming up on your channel for the next few days or so?
I got some Neo Geo games I need to finish up. Have one giant video game hunting that I have footage from last week that I need to finish putting together. Then I got, I think this person right here, this Danny person, I think that's I'm gonna at least remove that.
I don't know. I mean, he didn't post a link. Randy says, I love Casey is raw. Make sure to get Casey to 1,000 subs. Yeah, Lenora, Danny, if you were a bot or whatever, I don't know. But, yeah, the person yeah, it kind of, I mean, it looked weird, but it wasn't a link or anything, so.
Okay. If that was not a link, I apologize. I only just deleted it, so I didn't time the person out or ban them.
So.
But, yeah, I got some Neo Geo games that I am going to need to push out. I talk about that. I picked up Metal Slug 3 from the Neo Geo. And, yeah, like I said, I have one video game hunting I need to push out. And I got to edit the Bullfrog Punishment.
Oh, boy. Looking forward to that.
So, yeah, I got to finish editing that. So, and then I send that to Drew.
Excuse me.
And believe me, you guys would love my pain that I went through.
I'm sure everyone will, Casey. As far as what I have coming up, I'm doing the Christmas Eve into Christmas Day stream tomorrow night. I plan to play Mortal Kombat, but I don't have a real opponent yet. So I've issued an open challenge and no one's accepted it yet. So we'll see if I play or I don't play that. But I do have some more Super Mario World ROM hacks. Christmas ROM hacks I'll be playing tomorrow night, as well as I'll be playing Pokemon Sword and Shield, as I'll be shiny hunting the Delibird Pokemon. Delibird is the Christmas Pokemon, so I'll be doing that as well tomorrow night. I don't know when I'll start the stream. Probably around the same time we started this. We'll see. So follow my Twitter for the for stream information for tomorrow's stream. Anyways, guys, for Casey's Raw, my name is The Rose. Thanks for watching this episode of the Game Quarter Podcast. And until next time, guys, we'll catch your ass down the road.